Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. So let's get to the facts about Deontay Wilder, people. It looks like Deontay Wilder is definitely returning to the ring. Got some confirmation from Mauricio Sullivan, and I think that's an excellent thing for everyone out there in the boxing world, especially the Wilder fans. Great to hear that. Mauricio Sullivan, right now when it comes to Deontay Wilder, huge buzz going on just in regards to his name. Has a lot to do with Tyson Fury announcing his retirement and Deontay Wilder being the number one ranked contender for the WBC belt. He's the mandatory. Joe Joyce is the number 2. Not so sure who's going to come in, who's actually going to fight for that belt. I did a video on that. I personally think he's going to be kept in-house with PBC, but I understand how politics works. I understand Joe Joyce and Parker and what they're getting ready to fight for WBA. Looks like there's some talks about if Deontay Wilder doesn't come back, those two fight for the WBC. I understand when these guys get agreed to the rules under these sanctioning bodies, they got to fight for those belts, but there's all kind of rumors flying around, so who knows? One thing we do know that Deontay Wilder is coming back. Glad that he's coming back because Mr. Wilder has got, I don't think he received the love he deserved while he was actually active and fighting. I know that he was very vocal. He made a lot of statements that some people find controversial. But what about the other things he said that were very positive and uplifting? I think people just tend to gravitate towards what sells, and a lot of times, the controversy sells and all of the negative things. But there are a lot of positive things about him. And I'm not going to get into all that about his family and how he feels about people and just pride in himself. Okay, that's not what this video is about. But something else about him that's extremely positive when it comes to his professional life, forget the personal life, and we need to remember this. I think some people don't even know this, is that Deontay Wilder, who's 42-2-1, with all those knockouts, he successfully defended his WBC title on 10 different occasions during his 5-year reign. Now, that alone is commendable, because a lot of these champions and these boxers today, they only fight once a year, if that. This man was keeping busy twice a year. That's a lot in wear and tear on your body. That means it's almost like non-stop training camps. Training camp, fight. A little bit of a break. Can't get too comfortable. Back in training camp. Okay? So that's for 5 years straight. He defended that WBC title 10 different times as he reigned as champion. So he deserves a little break, especially after what he went through here with Tyson Fury. But what's significant about those 10 title defenses over the 5 years is that he surpassed Muhammad Ali, he surpassed Lennox Lewis, he surpassed Vitaly Klitschko, and he surpassed Joe Frazier, all of whom recorded 9 winning defenses. Deontay Wilder had 10. You gotta really process that. Deontay Wilder, he did the business. Deontay Wilder deserves to be mentioned with those names I just threw out there. He deserves to be mentioned with that. He's earned that spot. And as far as people saying he's no longer the boogeyman, Deontay Wilder still is the boogeyman. He still has that one-punch knockout power. And if he returns, the anticipation for Deontay Wilder returning right now is growing. And as soon as he mentioned he's going to come back to boxing, the anticipation for his arrival, and I'm going to say arrival because that's what it's going to be, it's going to be equal or bigger than, I know some people in the comment section are going to blast me for this, I would say Floyd Mayweather's return, I would say it's going to be equal or as big as Mike Tyson coming out of prison. That's what I feel. I know some people are laughing and cussing at the screen right now. And in some ways, it's going to be as big as Muhammad Ali returning to the ring. After all the stuff he went through, man. I'm not saying it's bigger than that, but I think as far as just the interest, it's going to be there. I definitely feel that way. Now, what's so unique about that is Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali. I think Mike Tyson was appreciated when he was fighting. The entire world knew who Mike Tyson was. The entire world. Everybody was Mike Tyson crazy, right? So I think he was appreciated. He had a concentric few haters. Oh, he's not fighting anyone. But no one cared. It was just like the excitement of seeing this 5'10", 5'11" guy built like a spark plug coming out there blasting people out. But I feel he was appreciated. I really do. Even when he went to the prison and came back, I think he was still appreciated. Floyd Mayweather, before he retired, that first time, I don't think he was appreciated. I don't think he was appreciated the way he was when he came back. And some people say, well, he still was appreciated. Yeah, he was, because the type of person he was able to command, he was appreciated. Whether people liked him or not, I think they appreciated him. But he still doesn't get his credit. See, being appreciated and receiving credit is two different things. But that's because styles make fights. And some people want to see the guy go in there, man, and have a mash up, crash up. Two crash test dummies just go run into each other and kill each other. And that wasn't Floyd Mayweather. But I don't think he was as appreciated as, I think he was appreciated, but it still could have been shown more love. But he doesn't get the credit he deserves, because he defeated more champions than anyone else and less fights. So that matters. Those are facts. He's arguably one of the best defensive fighters, if not the best ever. But as far as him being the best of all time, the best ever, it's a matter of opinion. But I don't think so. I think so much more goes into being the best ever, the greatest of all time, outside of boxing. So when it comes to Deontay Wilder, he definitely is more around the Mayweather position where wasn't really appreciated. He had the same kind of result in the ring as Mike Tyson, that ability to diffuse you. But Deontay Wilder's power is different. I don't care what anyone says, but Mike Tyson had everything you could think of, because Mike Tyson was trained differently. He was programmed to be a killer. Left hand, right hand, step to the side, body shot, uppercut, pivoting. Mike Tyson made guys look crazy in there. Deontay Wilder doesn't have that skill set, but what he has in that right hand is something special, and I think people held that against him. That's all they felt he had. People forget about his jab. People forget about the left hook. But when you come into boxing, right, just like in basketball, right, every dribble has a purpose, right? You don't come in, you see a guy playing basketball, even in football or soccer or even in football, right? But in basketball, a guy getting the ball, all this fancy dribbling behind the back, anchor step, cross step, all this jab step, escape step, all this unnecessary crap. And to do what? To not score? So you look good missing, you look good not scoring. Get your ass out the game. That's how it works. When it comes to football, we don't need this guy running, slashing, cutting, spinning, all that. If you can just use your speed to get into the end zone and beat everybody, that's what you do. If you can run in a straight line, you're that fast, you get the ball, go straight through, split the defense, and go straight down to the end zone, that's what you do. Soccer, the same thing. We don't need nobody coming up there, touching, rolling the ball, doing goddamn bicycle kicks and all that. If you can get that ball, tap, 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 or beat your opponent and just outrun them, make sure you don't get offsides, and get within striking distance and score a goal, that's what you do. All that extra stuff isn't necessary. And that's the same thing with boxing. Why come in here throwing jabs, throwing up and throwing left hooks when you can sit back, time a guy, and boom, let one shot go and get him out of there? And that's the game, man. That's the game. And he can do that because he's damn 6'7", 6'8". Got the pterodactyl-like wingspan, like Fury. So you can't sit, so you gotta appreciate it, but I don't think he was appreciated. When it comes to Muhammad Ali, man, I think he was appreciated, but whatever he went through kind of hurt him a little bit with some, but I think he grew more love, and then definitely after what he went through when he came back, people were fanatics over Muhammad Ali, and look where he is now. And I think, so when Muhammad Ali came back, a lot of people turned fanatics over that guy. It took a lot, it took time, it didn't happen overnight. But look at the way that he's revered right now. Mike Tyson, look at how people love him right now. You still got a couple of clowns that want to talk about all that stuff in his personal life from the past. Look at the change this man tried to make. People appreciate him now. Floyd Mayweather, I don't know, I think the verdict's still out on that, still too early. We got to give it another 20 years to see what people think about Mayweather. But with Deontay Wilder, I definitely think he's going down the path of the Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Because Deontay Wilder, he has that quality about him. He's very, takes a lot of pride in himself and boxing. And I think when he comes back, he's definitely going to be held in a space of definitely appreciating him. But he's going to have extremely high expectations from boxing fans because he has more boxing fans than what he had to before. So I think Deontay Wilder is more appreciated, and the appreciation for him is going to continue to grow. And I think this is his opportunity to come back and to leapfrog a lot of the heavyweight greats as far as how he's revered, how he's appreciated, and as far as the money he can make inside and outside the ring. But he's got to come back and he's got to win and win in devastating fashion. It doesn't even matter who he comes back to fight, to be honest with you. He come in there and he blazes somebody, he knocks him out, he short circuits him, the whole world's gonna go crazy again. Deontay Wilder is back and blah, blah, blah. And I'm pretty confident that's what's gonna happen when he comes back. So, all of that, just to say this, Mauricio Suleiman has been in touch with Deontay Wilder. Suleiman hasn't been saying much at all. And I think that's because Deontay Wilder really doesn't want anything said about him. And this is the difference between Suleiman and some of these other presidents of these organizations, these sanctioning bodies, right? He's like Eddie Hearn as far as Eddie Hearn as a promoter. Eddie Hearn is out there. He's visible. Whether you like him or not, he's talking, he's mingling, he's promoting, he's continuing to push the Matchroom brand, push his fighters' profiles, trying to raise their profiles, get them on the right platforms. That's what he's doing, and that's how come so many people know about Eddie Hearn more than they know about some of these other promoters. Bob Arum, we all know about him. He's been around for a long time. Don King, everybody knows about him. Been around for a long time. He and Arum were involved in some of the biggest fights ever. But Eddie Hearn is very well known. He's more known than Lou DiBella. And Lou DiBella's been around for a long time. But Lou DiBella's, he's successful, but he doesn't make an effort to be on social media, to be in front of cameras at every opportunity. Eddie Hearn has the right marketing strategy. He has people who come in. He makes sure that he schedules in time to just keep doing videos and keep the Matchroom boxing platform out there and to keep the name going, especially with the zone. Eddie, he's always thinking forward. But when it comes to, I know the hell I said about promoters, right? See, that's what happens when you lose stock, you get off on a tangent, you start to forget what the hell you're about to say. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder, Mauricio Suleiman, I'll make that comparison between Suleiman as a president of the WBC and then Eddie Hearn as a promoter. So that's what Eddie Hearn as a promoter is doing. Suleiman as a president of the WBC, he's doing the same thing. He's not afraid to be visible. He's not afraid to be out there in the public. He's not afraid to do interviews. He's not afraid to touch base with his fighters, engage with his fighters, and have a healthy relationship. And I think that's one of the things that made the WBC great. Hearn is always thinking outside the box. What can I do different for my fighters? WBC President Suleiman, always thinking about, hey, what can I do different? Got these damn belts that he's putting out there. All those belts, all but one look pretty cool. The whole Juneteenth belt looked a little cheap with the damn fists and chains on it. It could have come with something better. But still, nice idea. Just looked like a little abuela who was stitching that up. Really didn't know what the hell to throw together, so she did her best. But anyway, that's what you need in the president of these organizations. So he's in touch with Deontay Wilder. And I think Deontay Wilder may have given him the nod that, okay, don't say too much, but give the people something, because Mauricio Sulaimán wasn't saying nothing about Deontay Wilder. So now he's just going out saying that Deontay Wilder is taking it easy, which most of us assumed, and he's now weighing up his plans for the future, for a return. And that's what you want to hear if you're a Deontay Wilder fan. He talked about his reign as a champion, extremely busy, hard fight. The knockout losses to Fury, 2 back-to-back, and those were rough losses. Those were type of losses, type of knockouts and the type of beating he took that can change your life in a bad way. So he needs to make sure he's okay. Like I did a video about him nursing his injuries. But he says that it's been difficult to take the losses to Fury, but Deontay Wilder is maturing, and that's what we want to hear. I just did a video about hopefully with time he and Fury could maybe sit down and have a conversation. But the fact that Mauricio is throwing it out there, that tells me that Deontay Wilder is sitting back and reflecting and saying, you know, man, if I return, he's trying to figure out how to return to boxing and what to do differently. That's what Deontay Wilder is doing right now. And it's good. And then, of course, he said Deontay Wilder's having a good time with his wife and his kids. But more importantly, and everything that Sulaiman shed, as far as the light he shed and what he shared with the boxing community, is that he is more than confident Deontay Wilder will return. So when you think about that, the reason why he's saying that, and I truly believe he wants Deontay Wilder to keep representing his organization as a WBC heavyweight champion, because he's just one of those fighters that you rarely see in the ring that has the ability to knock somebody out with one punch, and he's had so many exciting fights. And he's just a great fighter, a great person, and we're sure that he'll fight this year. And I think so too, and Mauricio, to me, just confirmed it, and I just think there's going to be more and more to come with Deontay Wilder. So that being said, leave your comments below. Yeah, I said I think Deontay Wilder returning to the ring can have the same anticipation as Mike Tyson coming out of prison, as Muhammad Ali coming back to the ring after the unfortunate stuff he went through, and as Floyd Mayweather returning to the ring to fight Juan Manuel Marquez. So that being said, I stick by my words. You guys take care. I appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe. Shout out to all the veterans, and as always, I'm in the breeze.